and welcome to this CRUD tutorial. Today we're going to focus on the create operation, where we're going to be inserting a new record of data into a database table. In the previous tutorial we looked at the read operation. We were messing around with a file called index.php. This is going to act as our home page of our website, and it simply reads data from a database table and displays it on the web page. We also looked at how to create a simple navigation bar, and a quick review. We looked at how to include some PHP code from another file into our current file that we're developing. We looked at how to link to a style sheet, and that's where we're going to kind of declutter this page by just storing all of our CSS in a separate file. And of course we looked at how to complete that navigation bar. In today's tutorial, we're going to be working on a file called create.php. I've already included a connection to a database table. I'm linking I'm linking to my style sheet, and I copied and pasted that navigation bar code from my index file into here, and I made a few edits. When I click the home button, I want to go to index.php. When I click create, I don't want to go anywhere because this is the create page. And when I click update and delete, we jump to the correct pages, okay? So let's see if that works. I'm just going to click on create and see, yes, so we've jumped to the create page. We can go back to the home page and we can come into this create page here. So everything's working as expected. Let's continue into today's tutorial, where we're going to look at how to create a new record. To do that, we're going to ask users to complete a form. And when they've completed the form, they're going to hit a submit button, okay? And when they click the submit button, we're going to post data from the form to the web server, and this page is going to process that data. And that means that this page is going to insert that data into our database table. So these are the things that we're going to look at in today's session. First things first, let's look at how to include a HTML form in the body of our web page. I can never remember the syntax, so let's just do a quick search. HTML forms, yep, that's what we want. W3 schools, perfect, thank you. All right, this looks reasonable. Let's just go to try it yourself. A form with a submit button. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so let's just go to this start of the form here, go all the way down to the end of the form. There it is. Copy all that code, paste it into our web page under the add new user. And let's save that and just see if it's what we're looking for. Let's close that for a minute. Yeah, okay. Very basic, guys. As your skills improve, you can figure out how to make it look much nicer. But let's just start with a basic form. We've got these placeholders here. We don't need those. That value thing, I'm just going to take that out for now. And just to simplify things a little bit more, we don't need the ID. So I'm just going to remove these IDs. But as you can see, this form comes in kind of pairs of... Whoops. Let me just try and... So we've got a label, first name, there it is, and then we've got an input box. And then we've got a label, and then we've got an input box. Okay, so we've got one for first name. Now, this name attribute of the input box is very important. PHP is going to find each of the names when the data is posted. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Let's make another one and another one. Now, why are we doing that? We want one input box for first name, one input box for last name, one input box for location, and one input box for age. We don't really want an input box for ID because the web user doesn't know anything about that. Okay, wouldn't know that the next ID is 30, for example. Okay, so we'll have to figure that out ourselves, and we'll do that later. So we've got first name, and the name of the input box is fname. we've got last name, and the name of the input box is lname. The next one is location. Do we need this for equals? I'm not sure. I'm just going to keep it for now. It doesn't really matter. And that's that name. Remember to change the name because PHP will be using these unique identifiers later. And the last one, of course, is age. I think that's everything. Let's just save that and refresh. A little bit more of a gap between these two, so let's put another little break statement, break tag there. Just gives us a new line. So that's all BR does. Let's just see if that gives us a new line. Yeah, just a bit of separation. Okay, that looks good. Now when we click the submit button, we're going to perform an action. And the action that we want to perform is to reload this web page, which is called create.php. We're going to reload the page. Because at the top of the page, we're going to have some PHP, which is going to do some magic for us. We'll do all of that in the same page. So we're going to reload the page, and when we click submit, we are going to post data to the server. So the method of submission is going to be post, so we need that as well. Okay. So I think our form is good to go. What we now need to do is figure out the PHP, which is activated when we post data, i.e. when we click that submit button. So this PHP needs to ask itself, has anything been posted? Right? That's what this is asking. If nothing has been posted, we don't want to run any PHP. We just want to load the page as normal, like we did here. We haven't posted anything. But if we post something, we need to process the posted data. Okay? So now this line of code, guys, is nasty. Don't worry too much about it. You don't need to remember it. But I'll try and explain what it does. So when the page is loaded for the first time, we're going to connect to the database. We're going to ask, was anything posted to the server? Now when we click submit to reload the page, remember that's what we're doing here. When we click submit, we reload the page and we're posting some stuff. So the answer to this if statement is going to be true, right? Yes, something has been posted. So now we need to go and store the posted data. So I'm going to create a PHP variable to store the data that was posted from this input box. And that has a name of fname. Okay, so that input box called fname, we're going to grab the data that was posted from that box. And we're going to do that for lname, location, and age. So let's create some variables to store that posted data. Lname, I think that one was called location. We'll double check that in a minute. And this one was called age. Is that right? Yes, location and age. So PHP, now that we've posted some data, is grabbing the data, and then we're going to insert it into a database table. So we do need some SQL. So let's just, as we did before, let's just put our SQL into a variable. Insert into social data. Is that the name of our table? Yeah, there it is, social data. Insert into social data the following values. And the values are fname, lname, location, and age. Fname, lname, location, and age. Ooh, I tell you what, we've got a problem, haven't we? Because we also need to insert the latest ID. What is the latest ID? Well, in this situation, it's going to be 30. but the user doesn't know that. So we're going to have to figure that out. Now, I do have an idea. Check this out. This is fun. I'm going to select the ID from social data, order by ID in descending order, and limit the result to one record. Now we're lucky because, whoops, okay, we'll look at that in a minute. First of all, let's just see if this works. Yes, there it is, okay? We're lucky because the IDs are just numbers. So let's order the numbers in descending order from biggest to smallest and just grab the first one, which is going to be 29. So this will tell us the current biggest ID. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we want to do, we don't want to do this yet. First of all, we need to work out the ID. That's what we're doing here, okay? So I'm going to create a variable called ID SQL. And I'm going to put into that the SQL that I just figured out, because that gives me the answer. Now we need to run that SQL using our connection variable. Remember, we've got our connection variable here. And we're going to call the query function. And that's going to help us run this ID SQL. And usually we would have a while loop to loop through the result, but we're limiting it to one. There's only one record, so we don't need to while loop this time. All we're going to say is, I'm going to create a variable called ID, and I'm going to assign it, oh no, don't need to do that yet. We need to grab the row that was returned. That fetch association thing. So grab the row and then look at the ID field in that row. So I'm going to create a new variable to grab that. Now remember, that's going to be 29. And I'm just going to add 1 to it because that's going to be the next ID, right? So that will give us a result of 30, which is what we're going to put into. Okay. So insert the ID, the first name, the last name, the location, and the age for the new record. Now we need to run this SQL. I don't need to store the result. I don't care about the result. I'm just going to run the SQL. So again, using out my connection variable, I'm going to run my query, which is this SQL query here. And hopefully that is going to insert this new data into our database table. Okay, so let's save that and refresh this page. Let's just keep it very simple so it's obvious. X, which is 37. Submit. Oh, did it work? Let's go home. Yes, XXX37, we have managed to create a new record and insert it into a database table.